First, well, maybe let's talk about you. Okay, so you're 33. What do you know?
So I had a history degree, which I never expected to go into mining with. And actually, I find it's actually always more useful than I sometimes give it credit for. But I almost came into mining by accident. I'm based in London here, and I ended up I've done some work experience internships all the way throughout university. Ended up with junior exploration companies, and so I got to know the sector. Still never believing that I would end up in the mining industry. And I graduated in 2009 now, and I ended up working for a company I knew, and through that, I ended up as with an Australian explorer with uranium assets in Malawi called Resource Star. And it would have been a satellite, their main asset would have been a satellite deposit for Paladin's Kailakira, the only mine there. And actually, one of the people I was working with there was a director of Elemental and is still in charge of our technical side, Richard Evans. And he's 20 years at Western Mining. I worked with him in Melbourne, and that was going on now 11 years. And so I spent some time in Melbourne, essentially running it day to day with Richard, that company. And then I came back to the UK, and in my spare time, maybe for my sins, I'd taken on a sort of shell company here, and it had no assets, no money. In retrospect, it was very much jumping at the deep end. But we got some gold projects, ex-Randgold in northeast Ghana, actually adjacent to where Cardinal sort of are now. And put together some directors, raised some money for it, and took it to AIM. This is sort of 2012 to 2014, 2015. And it was a very bad time at the market then. And Cardinal, as an example, when we actually went to do the roadshow, I think they had a 1.6 million market cap with $1 million in cash and all the projects they do now. And that was just before they made the Namdini discovery. But they were in our broker notice comparator. Azuma, who had spent $100 million, had 120 mil market cap prior to that, also in northern Ghana as another comparator, they had maybe a $12 million market cap. And this really, I think, it really influenced me because I thought I've sunk 2 years of my life into this. They're genuinely, really appealing prospects. I could talk about Northeast Ghana for a long time, but it's underexplored, and you can pick up district scale land packages there, which you couldn't do anywhere else in Ghana. Top 10 gold producer. And so being able to put all of this together, and then as you're taking it to market, the water's receding and valuations falling and falling, that by the time we did take it to AIM and raise the money, and we had a sort of mid-tier who were going to come in as a cornerstone shareholder as part of that, with all of that happening, I sort of, when we got to the point of listing, I looked at it and thought, I've done 2 or 3 years of this for all the hard work, the only employee in the company, for almost no reward. And the risk reward profile is so skewed at that stage, especially for someone of my age profile. And so that company, it kept going and it is now listed, albeit predominantly with other assets. But that experience made me think that I should either go and work for a sort of mid-tier company and above and bide my time, or if we're going to set something up again, do it in a business model that actually takes away a lot of that risk in the mining space. And the business model that made the most sense there was the royalty model. And that's how I got in touch at the beginning when I was putting it together with Richard, who I'd worked with at Resource Star, and then also Peter, who was one of our other directors privately and still will be. And so it was Richard, myself, and Peter at the beginning. And we really set out to put a royalty company together that had key point, had good quality producing assets from day one. That was the most important thing, because it gave us a space privately to be masters of our own destiny to some extent. We could raise money when we wanted to raise money, unlike as an exploration company, having to go back to investors when they know that you need the money and they can dictate the terms.